Islam.
Islam Moors. What's up? We coming to you live from Chicago, Chi-Town, Chirac, don't call it that, Mecca, all right? And we have a very important video for you. I just want to make sure everybody understands how special this is. You're gonna hear someone who's like walking, breathing, living history, okay? You're gonna hear from the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple. Okay, let me say that again. The one and only, the Supreme Grand Sheik from the Moorish Science Temple. Okay, if you haven't heard of him or don't understand why this is so important, you need to Google him. Okay, that's on you. Seriously, Google Supreme Grand Sheik D Bailey L. D Bailey L. I'll put the words up there. Okay, you need to Google him. You need to understand what's going on. This is very important, and it's even where we're at right now. Chi-Town is Mecca. Seriously. The brother on another video on this channel, check it out, Assistant Grand Sheik, young phenom, Mealy, okay? He was telling you that this is Mecca, okay? And we can attest to this. You have two witnesses that can bear witness to that. This is Mecca. This is truly Mecca. It's not just something just to throw around or just to say. There's a reason why the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan is here, Minister Farrakhan. There's a reason why the Moorish Science Temple is here. It's real. And when you make a Hajj to Mecca, you do it to strengthen your faith, right? That's one of the reasons why. When you go there, you may be around disbelievers, but when you make the Hajj to Mecca, you're around other Muslims. We are Muslims. We make the Hajj to Mecca here in Chicago, and we can attest all types of people wearing their suit and tie, work uniforms, whatever. They see us,
Driver saw us.
They say Islam, because they recognize, they respect. They're Muslims too. Okay, they're Moors and they know it. There's respect for it. There's respect for the Moors here. The bus driver driving by, he made sure he made eye contact and said Islam. We see it. Okay, so it's not fake. It's not fantasy. It doesn't matter. You can't hear about it. You have to come here. You have to see it. You have to make Hajj for yourself. If you are a Moor, you have to come. You have to check out convention at least once for yourself.
Every year
just to
is
see,
here.
just to know.
September
it's real.
15th
and
through the 20th.
You have to listen to the Supreme Grand Sheik right now, because we're talking about someone with direct lineage to the Prophet, who's alive right now. Unbroken line from the Prophet to the first Supreme Grand Sheik, who's actually his grandfather. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this is an amazing, incredible video, and we're blessed that he took the time to teach us and to share actual real history with us. If you know anything about your nationality, or even if you're just learning about it, you have to check this out and share this. This is coming straight, I don't want to say from the horse's mouth, straight from the Prophet's mouth.
Islam.
Okay, this is real. Okay, so just wanted to let you know what's going on. And yes, we're here in Mecca, otherwise known as Chi-Town, and it's beautiful and it's real. And yes, the Moors are here, and yes, you have to come here. So especially to people who are thinking or talking recklessly.
It is the Windy City indeed.
It is definitely the Windy City. So you can't talk recklessly about Moors or anything like that. You've never even been here. And if you're a genuine, real person, you have to show respect. This is a true elder who's been fighting for us and doing this for years. So listen and learn and enjoy. And remember, you have to come out here for yourself. You have to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. And I'll just say, Islam. Peace to everybody out there.
Love, peace, and blessings.
Okay.
We are not a 501c3. Never have been, never will be. No, we're still on the right track. If you keep your mind to those papers that are more science as the Prophet brought it to us, and don't get a lot of that garbage that people have out there in your head.
Yes, sir.
You know, you have to be careful. And you're in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
You know, I know Moors all over the country. And I actually know 2 Moors that live in Columbus, Ohio. We need to have a mission in Columbus. You know that?
Working on it.
You're working on it?
Yes, sir.
We need to have a mission there. And there's some Moors there. There's Moors there.
Yes,
And sometimes you do better if you find a Moor that he never heard of Moor signs.
Islam.
You know? Yeah. But Finley Bay is good at meditation. I got some papers that he mailed me and sent me on meditation. I have to dig them out, but there's a lot to learn.
Islam.
You got a good family there.
Thank you. Islam.
How long you had your nationality card?
You just got it today.
Just
He just got it. I was raised in the temple by the Moors that sat with the Prophet. And the Prophet would never issue anybody a nationality card until they heard a reading from the Koran and the reading of his laws.
Islam.
And we would make sure that we had a meeting, and those people who were going to receive a nationality card, they could have a reading from the Holy Koran, and they could sit there and listen to the reading of the Prophet's laws, and then we would call them forward, and we would issue them their nationality card. We still do it like that, don't we, Kwame? He's not here.
He stepped out.
He has stepped out. He been doing a lot of stepping. You know, they got a dance called stepping. We do it here in Chicago. I don't know if y'all heard about that dance. You heard about that dance called stepping?
Chicago.
Oh, I'm a stepper. I'm good at dancing. Yeah. That was the only thing I would do with the Moors. After they made me a sheik, they told me I couldn't play with the Moors anymore. But they never said I couldn't dance with them. So I would dance with the sisters, you know. And we would be celebrating the Prophet's birthday, and we'd be out on the floor shaking a tail feather and doing the dances and all that stuff. Oh, we had good times. And still do. That's why I tell them more. We can make adapts when they've only been here 8-9 months. Because Brother Mealy had been here only about 7 or 8 months. And the Prophet
6 months.
And the Prophet left him in charge of a home office.
What's wrong, man?
You know, come on.
Was Brother Mealy a Mason?
Yeah, and some people, they want people to be in the temple for 3-4 years before they make them an adept. I think they got them waiting too long. You make them an adept when they've been there a year and put them to work. Give them some work to do. You know, some serious work. You know, when we got adepts and sheiks, we give them serious work. They don't do that, you know, messenger work. They do some serious work. No. And I know Toledo got them doing serious work. We do serious work here in Chicago.
Douglas Hill is originally from Toledo, so he wanted them Toledo Moors. He was born in Toledo.
My mother had 10 children. And you know what number I was?
Probably near being the baby.
7.
Seven.
7. That's close to being a baby.
I was
the
7.
seventh child born in the
7th
7th
month.
month.
That's
Islam.
right, Islam.
Islam.
I know what's special about
I
it.
was born in the 7th month. And it was something strange about me when I was born. And my grandmother used to always talk about it and be showing people my head. I'm like 10 years old. And come here, David, come here, David. And she'd be showing people my hair because for some reason I was born with gray hair. I was the seventh child, born in the 7th month, and I was born with gray hair. But I love the prophet. And I was like 5 or 6, 7 years old, and we would be at the temple, and nothing would do for me but to go get on the podium. And everybody would be saying, you know, he's going to be a Grand Sheik one day.
Wow.
And sure enough, I was. It was like November 1968 when Brother O. Lewis Hill changed form, and everybody turned and looked at me. And I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Because I had to make some changes, you know, improvements, I should say, in my character. I had to make some improvements. And I said, I'll do it. I'll make the improvements, you know. I've been there, did that, and did it long enough, you know. But perfected man must pass through what? All the ways of life.
Supreme Grand Sheik, do
Yeah.
we have time to ask you a few questions?
Yeah, come on over here.
All right.
Get a chair. I hope I got some answers.
All right.
Yes. You got the answer.
Okay, my wife's
Now,
gonna
this
ask
is more Douglas Hill, right?
Douglas Hill.
He got some
Sister
questions.
Douglas Hill here, Brother Douglas Hill.
All right.
You got some questions for me?
Yeah, my wife's gonna ask you a few questions. and
Okay, what's the
we're gonna
question?
record it.
You gonna record it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
All
what is
right.
the difference between a Muslim and a Muslim?
Okay. The difference between a Muslim and a Muslim is that Muslims are mainly Arab in their connection to their lineage, but Muslims do not have a connection to Arabs. You know, is the main way I see it. We're, here in North America, we're Moorish American Muslims, but you can go over in the East, in places like China and India and Pakistan, and they don't call themselves Muslims. They call themselves what? Muslims. But Muslims are mainly Arabs when you think about it. They're Sunnis and Shias and so forth. Even when you get into places like Iran, they're Muslims, you know. They don't be calling themselves Muslims, okay? But we're Moorish American Muslims, and we should never change that. And the reason we shouldn't change it, everything that the Prophet gave us is part of a plan. And our first Supreme Grand Sheik, Brother Mealy, was speaking in the second convention in, I guess it was September of 1929. And he told the Moors this. He said, the Prophet told me that he had given to us the divine plan of the ages, and nothing can be changed.
Islam.
Can't change the Constitution, can't change the Koran. We got 5 divine principles. We got the divine creed,
Islam.
you know. Can't change it. But we have to come into the realization that our divine creed is like a set of fundamental principles that are desired to keep us acting civilized
Islam.
with each other. And it goes even further that our prophet spoke in the Moorish leaders' historical message to America about some more principles that he gave us. Obedience to law, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. Those are principles for us too, but they're not the divine principles. They're just fundamental principles that are desired for the civilization of our posterity. That's what the prophet said in 1928. What's your next question?
Islam. Let's see. This person said, can I use my free national name and my name that appears on my birth certificate?
Yes. You use them in conjunction. What's your first name?
Lloyd.
Lloyd?
Lloyd.
Yeah, L-L-O-Y-D.
Lloyd?
Lloyd.
L-L-O-Y-D?
Yes, sir.
Is that how you spell it?
Yes, sir.
Your name is Lord Douglas Hill. And back in the old day, and we can probably still call it that, like, my name is Bailey Hill, David Bailey Hill. I don't have a middle name. But David is like my given name. That was given to me by my mother and father. Bailey is a slave name. It connects you to slavery. And ill is a title. Some boys still around this country that be following people like that one in, his name won't come to me right now. They be telling people that Ill and Bay is their free national name. No, it's not. Ill and Bay is a title. You know, one is Lord, the other is Governor. You know, and our free national name is what?
Moorish Americans.
Moorish American is our free national name. But we got people around the country saying Ill and Bay is their free national name, and that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, but Ill and Bay is a title. And when you join the temple and when you receive your nationality card, you can choose one or the other. Am I right?
Islam.
He had a choice to be an Ill or Bay,
Islam.
and he chose to be what?
Ill.
Ill. That's it. And you're going to be with that for the rest of your life.
Islam.
Islam.
The rest of your natural life until you change form. If you stay with the prophet, it'll follow you into death and beyond. You're an ill. What's next?
Islam. It says, are we U.S. citizens or USA or American citizens?
Okay. What we always try to go by to have a sure foundation and to be in sync with the prophet is when it comes to that aspect, you have to look at your nationality card. On your nationality card, in the lower right left-hand corner, the prophet put something, didn't he?
Sure did.
What did he put?
He said we are citizens of the USA.
Says, I am a citizen of the USA.
Islam.
Islam.
And that's what we are. We're what the prophet said. We're citizens of the USA. You can say U period, S period, A period. I don't care how you say it, but we're citizens of the USA. That's what's on your nationality card.
Islam.
And that's what we stick with. You know, if the prophet gives me something, I'm not going to walk away from it. Sometimes that comes up, I bring that up when it comes to things like salat. Moors can do salat. As a matter of fact, salat is nothing but another name for prayer.
Islam.
The Moorish American prayer is a form of salat. If salat is nothing but prayer, but when the Prophet came, you can be assured he gave us everything that we need.
Islam.
And if you're around long enough, you come into the adab chamber, you're going to learn more.
Islam.
You be faithful and you still around this time next year, and Brother Murray Bay, or one of the other Moors, Blackshear Bay, decide to make you an adab, or a sheik will do it.
Islam.
But they're the ones got to prove it. And I don't go reaching in, telling them what they should do or what they shouldn't do when they come to adabs. I can. Don't think I can. But I'm not going to do it. They may know something about you I don't know, and they don't want to make you a sheik or adab.
Islam.
And they ain't going to tell me what they know, because it's too cold-blooded. You know, but
Islam.
a year from now, you should be in a position where we're going to reveal some things to you.
Islam.
But you got to be patient and obedient, loyal and faithful, and a year from now, you can go further.
Yes, sir.
You know,
We're present.
as you seek more knowledge in Islam.
Islam.
Yeah.
May I say something? Grand Sheik?
Say it.
These questions are from different Moors all over the country that watch our YouTube channel or Instagram, different things like that. We just said that we will be speaking with the Supreme Grand Sheik. And if
Okay.
you have any questions, so these are coming from the people all
Okay,
over
you
the country.
can probably play this tape too, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your next question? I'm enjoying this. You enjoying it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have I answered your question satisfactory?
Yes, sir.
Islam,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What else you got?
So, how can guests that are visiting the mstofa know that it's the charter and it's legitimate and not any of the other temples claiming to be the mstofa?
By the signature. Okay. We have a document, an affidavit. I gave some out yesterday, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
I gave out a copy of some affidavits, well, affidavit that we filed. That was back in November of 2008. And on that affidavit, we had the lineage of the Supreme Grand Sheiks of the Moorish Temple of America. In order for a charter to be legitimate and legal in the eyesight of Allah, it must have the proper signature or the signature of one of those sheiks, Supreme Grand Sheiks, that's on that affidavit. Okay? Now, in later years, we have authorized the Grand Sheiks and temples to sign nationality cards, but we've never authorized them to sign the charter. So it comes back to what I said. In order for a charter to be legal and legitimate, it must have the signature of one of those Supreme Grand Sheiks on that affidavit or the proper signature. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Islam is correct.
Is that clear?
Who was the
Yes,
first
sir.
Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother Mealy.
Islam.
Who was the second Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother Morris Hill.
Brother Moorish.
W. Morris Hill.
Who was the third Supreme Grand Sheik?
Brother E. Walton Bay.
Okay. Who came after him?
Brother W. Harlan Bay.
And who came after him?
Brother O. Lewis Hill.
And who came after him?
Brother David Bailey Hill.
And who came after him?
He retired in 92.
Yeah.
Brother Braswell Bay.
No.
Hmm?
Brother P. Davis Hill.
Oh, sorry, yes. Brother P. Davis Hill.
Brother P. Davis Hill.
Try to trick
Then Braswell Bay, and then we removed him. Yeah. And that's another story. But
you.
what's your next? Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
What's your
Islam.
next question?
Okay. It said, what, if any, plans are there to unify or address the separation factions of the MSTA?
Eventually, Moore's going to have the wisdom and the insight to come home.
Islam.
That's all it is. They got to know that they can't have it their way. They got to do it the Prophet's way. And they're going to begin to come home. And it's going to begin by those of us who were together and lived in the same house back there in 1927 and 28, we're going to come together. In other words, those Moors who were, we call them Seakirkland Bay Moors. Right now they're with Brother Jones Hill or Jones Bay. Is it Jones Hill?
Tell them about the three types of Moors, Supreme Grand Sheik.
Huh?
Tell them about the three types of Moors when the Prophet
No.
passed.
And when the Prophet changed form, there was only, and I'm talking, I can go to the date, July 27, 1929. Am I right?
Islam.
That's when we had the Prophet shown. And there's only three types of Moors that actually looked at the Prophet, looked at his body laying in that casket. It was the Moors that were going to stick with him, and they gravitated at that time to Brother Mealy. There was a group of Moors, they wanted to undo some of the laws and changes that the Prophet had put in place, and they gravitated toward Brother Seakirkland Bay, who was a new Adam, a new sheik. And then there was a third type of Moor. What they wanted was another prophet. And it was on August the 17th, 1929, we had a Moor came up the elevator, not the elevator, but the fire escape, and came in the window at Pythian Temple. And he said he was the prophet reincarnated, and that was Brother Johnny Gibbons Hill. He said he was the prophet reincarnated, and this is what some Moors wanted. They wanted another prophet. So initially we split into those three groups. Those are the first three that are going to have to come back together, and all the others will be lawfully and legally shut down.
Islam.
We're just going to shut them down, lawfully and legally. We got that document, and you got a copy of it, that we filed in November of 2008. And it was like a affidavit of reaffirmation, where we were reaffirming something. And we were reaffirming the fact, we're the ones that filed that affidavit. That's our affidavit. That we found. And it gives us complete control of the MST of A. Eventually, we're just going to have to shut temples down. The ones that don't come back home, it's going to start coming together.
Islam.
And here's the one thing the faithful have to keep in mind. The prophet could see and know what was going to occur in the future because he was a prophet. And there's something that he told us that we should always keep in mind and never forget. The prophet told us, the original temples, that the day was coming when we would not have enough secretaries to take in the new members.
Islam.
Yeah. And that's what they're going to have to be, new members. I doubt seriously if I'm going to let somebody run in here and they're going to have 100 adepts. No. They're going to be new members. Given a period of time in there or something, we'll probably give them the adept status back. But they're going to come in as new members, not new sheiks when they come. It's their fault for being out there, and they know they're out there. They know it, and they know who we are. They know that we are the original grand body of the Moorish Americans of America. That affidavit proves it. Nobody else can file an affidavit like that.
Islam.
You know, I asked, his name won't be out there now. I asked him for something one time. I asked him about, he's with the, what we call the Secret Bay group. I asked him, did they have a convention program from 1930, 31, 32, and 33? I said, see if you can locate a convention program that C. Kirkland Bay for his convention that he had in 1930, 31, 32, and 33. And he couldn't find one, because there is none. C. Kirkland Bay had no convention in those years. As a matter of fact, back there when I was 15 years old and I was learning what was going on and that there were different groups. I didn't know there was different groups of Muslims around. But I began to learn that it was, because they didn't talk about them.
Yeah.
Okay? But there was this group of Moors, they were down there in the area on North Sedgwick and North Orleans. This was before they got over there in that building on Augustine Horn, before they had that building. And they were actually calling themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America of 1934. Yeah. They used to call themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America, because that's when they filed papers and they had a big meeting. I got the minutes from that big meeting. Have you ever seen it? Have you
I've
ever
heard
seen
about
those
it.
minutes?
Oh, no, sir.
You know,
They used to call themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America of 1934.
I got their convention minutes from 1934. And, Moors that was supposed to be with Brother Mealy, they popped up at Seacoast and Base Convention.
Wow.
You know, Brother Mealy was sick down in Mississippi. And when you think about it, in September of 1934, he was sick down in Mississippi. And the prophet's wife, Payneal, they all popped up at Seacoast and Base Convention in 1934. They had some good open discussions. This is in the minutes. But if you've ever read any convention minutes, you should read those. The Seacoast and Bay Convention minutes of 1934. Edward Hill got it in one of his books. In one of his books, he has those minutes. In one of his books. But did I answer the question that was asked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I give a good answer?
Yes, sir. Islam.
Okay. What's the next question?
Okay, it looks like we have 3 questions left. One, somebody asked, is there a connection to the Moors here, to the Moors or unconscious Moors in Canada, the Caribbean, South America, like my wife, for example,
Okay.
or people from Puerto Rico and Haiti?
No, not with this grand body. But I know those Moors in Canada. I've talked with them. And they've actually called me Supreme Grand Sheik. Yeah. And one day, they'll be with us. It's coming. But we have to remember this. The prophet told us this is the uniting of what? Asia. And eventually, all Asiatics must come aboard. All of them. And everybody, if you're not a European, there you are. That's a whole lot of people.
Yeah, that answered it.
That's a whole lot of wealth. You know, the Europeans really didn't know what they were doing when they made China what they are. They made China what they are. The Chinese weren't nothing. You know, figuratively speaking, they didn't have nothing. But they sent all these companies over there so they could have people working for 50 cents an hour. And the Chinese got rich. They're loaning money now to the United States. The United States actually borrowed money from China.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some changes made in the future. Some big changes. And that's why we have to be careful about what we say and what we do and who we align ourselves with and who we talk about. Because sometimes if we talk about our brothers and sisters in a negative way, it kind of like makes it hard for us to get together. But if we show the principle of love, we love everybody. You know, we love mankind. And that includes the Roman nations. It does. We're to love mankind. But Moors all around the world will be with us one day. We just don't know what we're sitting on. But some of us that do, I know how to protect it. And can't nobody flip me. And they can't flip Dandridge Hill. That's why some of them left. They're better off going somewhere where they could go and be comfortable and do things the way they want to do it. You know, over in those other groups, they're not being pressured to do and obey the prophet like we do here. And one thing we're determined to do is on those monthly reports. Everybody has got to send one every month like the prophet said. We should be able to look at our monthly financial statements and chart of the future. Know what's going on. Manage effectively. And people know that here we know what we're doing, and they're going to be here. The Moors in Canada, and all these, the Moors in Central America, South America, Asia. Yeah, why not? One great big family. You got another question?
One last question. Is the Moorish Science Temple of America a government?
Okay. Let's talk about that. You have to get a handle on what the prophet gave us. If we are a government, or there's part of us that constitutes a government, we should be able to identify it. Okay? You have to go to the Divine Warning to the Nations. Came out, I guess, in November 1928, didn't it? And there's a group that the prophet speaks of in there, and it's called a pre-national government. Yeah. And the year, I guess the month was May of 1916, the prophet founded a group called the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And we can say this, the Moorish Temple of America really was founded in 1913 AD, except what we were calling ourselves the Canaanite Temple. But that's a religious corporation. The prophet in July of 1928, he had a meeting, and he organized us as a religious corporation. And our name became the Moorish Science Temple of America. But mindful of the fact that in 1916, he formed a group called the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And we are the Moorish Science Temple of America / Moorish Divine and National Movement. Who has on there ADAP sash? I have mine in my pocket. More. Who is that sitting there?
Divine Bay.
Your Divine Bay?
Hold on, I got a sash.
Have you got, who got
Grill.
the sash
Grill.
on?
You got it.
Grill.
Grail.
Give me your badge.
Never mind.
Come stand out front here where everybody can see you.
Watch the blood.
Somebody with a sash on.
You got his badge.
Islam.
I got mine in my pocket here. I didn't put it on there. Have nobody got theirs on there. Who got, somebody got theirs on?
Oh,
Sister
yeah,
Gray L.
this-
Male.
I should have known Sister Gray would be have her act together. That's what's always got it together.
Mayel got it. Come over, Mayel.
Okay, where's Mayo?
Right here.
I want him out here.
He's right here next
You
to
gotta
you.
be right here.
He's right here. He always like getting on top of me.
Here.
You right here?
right here.
Now I want somebody to read what it says.
It says, ADAPT of Moorish Americans, Divine and National Movement of North America.
Okay? So, the Moorish Divinely National Movement still exists.
Islam.
And the Moorish Divinely National Movement is our pre-national government. So, yes, we have a government. Okay?
Islam.
Yes. We have a religious aspect in that the Moorish Temple of America is a religious corporation, and the Moorish Divinely National Movement is our pre-national government. Am I right or wrong?
Praise Allah.
Islam.
Yes. So, we have a religious aspect which covers us in regards to the Constitution of the United States of America, because it protects religious organizations. That's why we have a document that our prophet said the Constitution of the United States of America is one of the greatest documents of all time.
Islam.
It is, because it enables us to function as a religious organization. But yet, the Moorish Divinely National Movement is our pre-national government. And when it comes to things that are done by government entities, the Moorish Divinely National Movement come into play. When it comes to things that are religious in nature, the Moorish Temple of America comes into play. I can look at you this way, or I can look this way.
Islam.
Whatever way you want to come, I got you covered.
Islam.
Because you can only come as a religion or as a government entity. Ain't nothing else.
Islam.
Private covered it all.
This ain't nothing else.
But we got to be able to think to know how to use it. You know, you can have a person out in the wilderness and they can be living like wow. And you go out there and give them a spoon and fork and they don't know what that is. But you give them time and they got it, they're going to figure out some use for it. They might, at first, break rocks with it, I don't know. But eventually they're going to learn to eat with it. Give them time. But there's so much that the prophet gave us that he told us. On one occasion, he said, it'll be 50 years before you understand what I gave you. Am I right or wrong?
Islam.
You're correct.
And I was around in the 1950s, and I can guarantee you, those Moors didn't really know a lot about what the prophet gave us. And they couldn't really explain a lot. And I was always asking questions that they couldn't answer. But now I want it to be different. We should have a handle enough on this to be able to answer that Moor's questions and that Moor's questions to satisfaction.
Islam.
And, you know, a lot of those old Moors, we would ask them questions and they would say, you know, you ask too many questions. I said, no, you just don't have the answers. And they get mad at me. I'd make them mad. They get mad at me, but I say, no, you just don't have the answers. It's not that I'm asking too many questions. You don't have an answer that I will accept. And one answer, I got them on. They were, when I was like 10 and 12 years old, they were telling me that ill was my free national name. Yeah, they did. They were saying that. And it wasn't until I was about 17 to 18 years old was the first time they made known to me it was such a thing as a divine warning to the nations, because it was so much in there they didn't understand that they didn't want to talk about it or bring it out. But they had this big metal cabinet loaded with papers and things, and they never would let me get in there. But I started peeping, and eventually I saw this paper called The Divine Warning to the Nations. And in the first paragraph, it spoke about a free national name. And it said there's only one. I said, whoa, whoa. I said, I think I got them this time. Because, you know, I would be out to get the old no more sometime. I'd be out to get them. And now I got something. They saying Il and Bay, which is two, is my pre-national name. But I got a paper written by the prophet saying there's only one pre-national name. Now who's right?
The prophet always right.
Prophet got to be right, and they got to be wrong. And they got mad when I told them they were wrong. Oh, sit down, shut up, you don't know it. I said, I'm just repeating what the prophet said. There's only one free national name. And it's what?
Moorish American.
Moorish American. Moorish American. I'm kind of long-winded, aren't I?
Nope.
No, you
Perfect.
good, you good.
Perfect.
Yeah, you explained everything.
What kind of questions you got? Where are your questions at? Have you got some questions?
I got one more.
One more?
Uh-huh.
Okay. She got one more. She got one more question. What's the question?
Why is it important to pray and meditate?
Why is what?
Why is it important to pray and meditate?
Okay. Now, we have to remember, I was talking about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer and meditation is two different things. Okay? When we pray, we speak or we talk to Allah. And there are different types of prayers. Prayers of affirmation or reaffirmation. There's about 4 or 5 different kinds of prayers, you know. But when it comes to meditation, you can't move, you can't talk, you gotta be still. And when you meditate, instead of you speaking to Allah, Allah speaks to you. And in a small, still voice, he speaks. And he who hears is still. You gotta be still when you meditate. Am I right or wrong? He who hears is still. So, Moors pray, and we have a Moorish American prayer. And Moors meditate. In the Holy Quran, the msta, I believe it's in chapter 35, on page 43. It's about verse 22, maybe. It says, Allah has exalted thy mind with the powers of what? Meditation. Yeah. In many instances in the Holy Quran, it speaks about prayer, or praying. So we pray. I pray every day. And we meditate. I meditate every day. You know, I retired from the post office almost like 25, 26 years ago. And every day, by not having to go work for a living I get a retirement check. I've been hitting them for 26 years. Yeah. But you'd be surprised how much money I done got when you add it up. I've gotten a lot of big money over the years, but I have time now to meditate. And every day I pray and I meditate. I do both of them every day. And each has its place. And sometimes I like to get everybody in the house together. And we say the Moorish American prayer. Come on, let's pray. Yeah. But when I meditate, I go in my room. Sometimes I leave the door open, sometimes I close it. When I meditate, I like being by myself. It's just me and Allah. And He unloads on me. Instead of my unloading on Him, He unloads on you. And if you're wise enough and religious enough and clean enough, you gotta be clean. Allah doesn't like dirty. He never has. He tells us keep our body clean with water on the inside and outside. That's why we have to drink plenty of water every day. It's a healthy, normal thing to do. To drink, they say 5 or 6, 7 glasses of water every day. Clean your inside, clean your outside. Don't be no dirty Moor. A lot don't like dirty Moors. You come to the temple, you're supposed to be what? Clean. You know, you don't come to the temple dirty. Inside and out, you gotta be clean. But we pray and we meditate. And there's a difference. The difference is what? When we pray, we talk to Allah. And when we meditate, Allah talks to us. You got one more?
I'm done. You answered everything.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to us, to teach us. If I can, I'd like to plug the temple. You're listening, if you don't know, you're listening to the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. There is no other. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to know more, go to mstofa.net. We'll put that on the screen at the bottom. Keith, Dan Giselle, what would we do if someone can't find a temple near them?
Go to the same site, mstofa.net, on the locator tab, and find the nearest temple near you. And if there's not a temple in your state, just reach out to the nearest temple, because in order to proclaim your nationality, you're most likely need to travel there, or they need to come and meet you. So just find the nearest temple and reach out via email. All the different temple emails are in that locator tab. And if you don't get a response, email home office at mstofa.net, and that'll come to the Supreme Grand Council, and someone will get back to you.
Okay, so we'll put those links in there and on the screen. Okay, so if you have any questions, you heard that, just email. All right? And just want to thank you for your time. We're going to close on that.
Islam?
Islam.
That means you gotta shut that record off.
Yes, sir.